Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna get rolling. I'm gonna take your time.
So that's good.
All right. Everybody gets food? Everybody got your one that might happen? You see that? Everybody got one of these? If you came, you got this, guys. Money does not buy happiness. I got this as a part of there's a brand called Iconic that does posters. They're like motivational posters. You guys seen that? They do a lot of social media marketing. You guys seen that before?
Huh?
We're like for a shirt, or should I put it? No, it's just
Along with
something
the
like
poster,
sticker.
which I thought was interesting.
But I could put it on my shirt.
It kind of fell right along. You want a real one? Money will buy you a boat.
What?
It'll buy you a boat. And it'll buy you a truck of bullets. But I thought it was interesting, mainly because we do contests and we get prizes and we sell real estate mainly for money, right? Isn't that actually what we're all doing this for? We also have to feed our families and we want to go on vacations. Julie jumped in. She's in Texas right now, but she's a real estate agent, so she gets to be in Texas and do some of her work while she's vacationing. And so it doesn't buy us happiness, but in bold, it's one of our trainings that Keller Williams, as you get more and more into the business and you get into higher and higher volume, bold is a business objective, a life by design. And in that class, amen. In that class, it talks about money is only good for the good that it can do. Right? Money is only good for the good that it can do. And so we just stack up a bunch of $100 bills and we don't use it, or we don't actually turn it into something that's good that we can all be proud of and happy about. It's going to kind of take us away from what that end goal is. And I have competing opinions about a listing contest, mainly because I have a hard time connecting. We're already competing against each other to go get listings, right? This is how we do our business, is by going out and getting listings. Okay. We already do that. This is what we do every single day. And so knowing that we're going to have a contest to do the thing that we're all actually paying to go do daily anyway, that doesn't motivate a whole lot of people to go work any more diligently than they otherwise would. So we kind of hatched this idea of having captains, and these are your captains up front. Okay. We're missing Jessica Marone, but she's not without representation. The whole goal here is that these six got together yesterday and we drafted the entire office, and it's pretty intense. And the way we did it was we're gonna spread out the office into new teams, right? Because right now everybody's put off into their own team. If you don't have a team, you're a team of one, which some of us are teams of 1 and 2 and 5. So this is a way for us all to kind of split that up and also start to get back to know each other. Because over the last year, I think all of the relationships that we've had in our life have had to been reevaluated or rebuilt from the start. And I think that it's a great opportunity for us at Keller Williams to look at what are the pillars of our business, of the brokerage, right? What are those pillars that we want to create for our agents? And then what do the agents want to create for their businesses, their clients, their buyers and their sellers, their family and their friends? And so for Keller Williams, who knows what the value proposition of Keller Williams is to our agents? Who tell me what are those values that we provide you guys? Support, training. God, family, business, right? That's a big value to us.
The agent can brand themselves and the agent, and we work with a company that allows us to brand ourselves rather than
Yeah, we want you to build your business on top of, ooh, you sneaked it, that's all right. We want you to build your business on top of what Keller Williams provides you, right? We want big, massive towers on top of the fundamentals that we should be giving you guys, right? We want to give you the fundamental tools to go create these big, large businesses, right? Ben Kinney has an incredible organization that's multi-state, several dozen teams across the country. He has a technology company, he has a mortgage company, he has a marketing company, he owns a CRM business, right? And it's all built along with Keller Williams as a support to that. That's a big value proposition to me. So I think that's great. The first thing that actually attracted me to KW was the team leader had a vested interest in asking me, what do you want to do in real estate, and then help me get there, right? That was what was the biggest impact for me to come to KW. Is it wasn't about what KW is and has and why I should want to be a part of it. It was like, hey, what does Robert want to do in real estate, and how can we help him do that? And partnered me up with Jeremy Larkin, and the rest is kind of history. And if I didn't have somebody that was interested and invested in me to go do that, then I probably would be floundering around in real estate still to this day. But I had somebody that was looking out for me. And to me, that's a cultural value proposition. That was the foundation of a cultural piece to it, is that it's not just about what I can do for you or what you can do for me. It's what can we do together to grow each other's businesses. It's a brokerage for agents by its agents, right? You guys make our brokerage. The leadership team here, we call ourselves the leadership team, but we're here just to kind of support you guys in building your business. Without you, we don't have a business, right? And at any time we can change the name on the building, but all the agents are still going to be selling real estate, right? No one's getting out of the business, right? Everybody's committed to this, right? And so we want to continue to add to that, and I want to take this opportunity and use the listing contest to continue to build that foundational cultural piece to our office. And Michelle has to have her phone on ring, because if it vibrates, she won't hear it, right, Michelle? That's right. That's right. And it's just now that I realized at this stage of my career, is like, I can't have it on vibrate either. I have to have the sound on because I won't notice. So without further dragging on any what the goal is, the simple goal that I have, right, my vision of how this event would be successful, or this listing contest is going to be successful, is that we as agents start coming together and crossing over in our different business models, our different business plans, different ways of lead generation, different ways that we provide value to our clients, and we start sharing that back with each other. Because that's why I came to KW in the first place, was that collaboration of agents. And if we don't move the needle forward and grow, I gotta just like all of us do, we have to have a number that we're trying to hit. We got a goal that we want to hit, and some objectives, some priorities that we want to hit, and strategies to do that. I want us to have an increased percentage in listings taken over the next quarter. I have a goal up there. It's not for you guys to know, it's for me to know that I'm going to impact that in specific ways. And I hope all of you have, over the next quarter, a specific goal as to what you want to get out of the listing contest. And I've asked all of our captains, Jesse, what do you want out of the listing contest? Not, do you want to go get more listings? It's, if we were to do a contest, what do you want to have happen at the end? And not that Jesse's answer wasn't great, but Cassie, to me, had the most impactful answer to me, is that she wanted to walk away from the contest feeling like the whole contest added to her business and didn't take away from, right? Because we can go into team meetings and we get to all these trainings and we do all these things that feel like they're taking from us rather than adding to us. And if I could simplify it in the most simple way, is that fair enough that you want to walk away?
I want to be more excited about real estate than less.
More excited about real estate than less.
So that take away the point. Yeah.
Yeah, add to it. Get more excitement around it. Mo Anderson, she talks about this all the time. If you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. And I've had to keep that in my head. I had to keep that as a mantra, because it's easy to start going down a little bit of negativity road and sometimes I rant about it really loud in the office and everybody can hear about it. But if we keep a positive mindset, is that we're gonna grow and however you want to in the next 90 days, and then we can kind of keep the ball rolling into more cultural elements. So we have the listing contest coming up. We have Red Day coming up, which I'm going to go and interview with the director of the Utah Food Bank, the state director with the Utah Food Bank later this week. We're going to take a video guy over. I'm going to shoot some video of the facility and promote it for you guys to see what we're going to be doing at Utah Food Bank, and then also to share with your clients so we can raise a little bit of money, raise a little bit of awareness that you guys are part of a charity organization that does stuff on a regular basis. We're going to take that and we're going to move it right into Detective Josh Wilson. We're going to do a fundraiser for Detective Wilson, who has terminal brain cancer. We're going to do a fun run carnival event. Thanks to Candace and Sherry Rowney and Shauna Matoza really helped me take the lead on this, and I really appreciate all that you've done on this so far. So we're going to go Red Day, we're going to go into this other charity event, and I want to continue and add on to the what's the next thing culturally that we're going to do for our community. But this is just the start. Okay, guys, sound good? Are you guys excited? Yeah. Perfect timing, perfect timing. All right, everybody online, can you hear me okay? We got 15 online. Mel is still trying to join us. Adina's doing the I think. Flying. Yeah, I think that was a gang sign. Don't do that again. And then Kaylee is incognito. I love it. Good to see you. All right, so let's get the slideshow. So we did the draft yesterday, and I was really interested to see who was going to go #1 pick. And if you guys saw the slide, you might have.
I'm really sorry.
You might have saw it. That's all right. It's not really all that dramatic. But I'm glad Kara's here. So first pick in the draft, Nate Schaefer. Woo! Nate Schaefer went #1 overall. Okay. #1 pick for our draft. For what? He doesn't know. That's all right.
He's like, I don't even know why I'm here.
He's excited. So little do we all know, he loves actually taking buyers around. He just get in a car and drive buyers around all day long. That's why he loves it. But here's the #1 pick for the listing contest. So quick overview of the listing contest. We have 6 teams, about 18 agents per team. Okay. There's going to be agents that aren't going to participate, that aren't just in it full time, that aren't necessarily listing focused. If your goal is to get some training around specifically listings and how to take inventory, this is what this whole thing's going to be poured into. So it's going to be a point system. Each team is going to gather points. We're going to give, and I'm going to get this posted for everybody to see. So you don't have to write this down. 1 point for every hour of lead generation that you do over the course of the game. It starts today and goes till June 21st, which is the first day of summer. Okay. So from now until June 21st, 1 point for every hour of lead generation, 1 point for every training that was attended. So this morning, Jesse Paul, online or not, you could zoom in person or zoom in. So we have scripts training on Tuesday, Thursday, 9 o'clock. Sarah and Jesse jumped in. I don't know if anybody jumped in after I got there. So
yeah.
So anybody on those teams, anybody who came in on that training got 1 point for joining in on that training this morning. So scripts practice Tuesday and Thursdays, specifically around listings. We're going to have win with sellers. We're going to have lead generation 36-12-3. We're going to have Ignite, specifically Ignite geared around listings, right? Because we could do an Ignite class that hits all of these different elements of the business, but all of those elements can have a focus towards listings. So Ignite will be a week long. So you get points for that. 5 points for a listing appointment and 10 points for a listing taken. Okay, that's how the points will be added up. And at the very end, we'll tally up all the points. We're gonna have prizes throughout. And now the first prize in contest question, Rebecca Bunny.
You said listing
Zoom. Go to training calendar. It's on the training calendar, UnitedServices.biz/events. I put the link in the email I sent today. Like that Zoom link will take you to the team meeting, specifically that, but you can navigate away from that and go to the other trainings. We'll continue to add and show you. Every time that I send an email out, it says training calendar. Click on the training calendar button. It should take you to the training calendar that's online. You can also find it on the UAS app. if you haven't downloaded it, but on the UAS app, go to the training calendar. The links and Zoom links and descriptions of the classes are in there as well, okay? So 1 point for training, 1 point per hour lead generation, 5 points for a listing appointment, 10 points for a listing taken, okay? Now, the first contest and the first prize will be awarded to anyone that does a Bold 100 this weekend, Friday to Sunday. Anybody that does a Bold 100 will get, I know Dina made this aware to me that you do a Bold 100 and then you get put into a drawing. Well, if I have multiple people do a Bold 100, I'm going to give prizes to each one of you that do a Bold 100, but the grand prize is it's going to be pretty awesome. It's 100 days. It's 100 days of something. So just keep that as the teaser. Okay. So any Bold 100 that's done this weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you're going to report to your captain, and that'll be the first. And who does not know what a Bold 100 is?
Yeah.
There's some, repeat it because I forgot you.
Bold 100, Daryl. Okay, a Bold 100 is 100 contacts in a single day. 100 real estate conversations in one day. Who's done a Bold 100?
Daryl plays more like a Bold.
Colette, Marlene, Rebecca. Have you done a Bold 100, Jeff? Yeah. Impressive. Is it hard or is it easy? Is it hard? It's 100 contacts, 100 voice to voice, 100 voice to voice. You mean like 1,000 dials if you're just running the phone, right? Or face to face, which there's potentially an event happening this weekend. Does anybody know the event that's happening this weekend? Iron Man. I wonder how many thousands of people are going to be wandering around St. George.
Yeah.
That's a great, I'm not saying that that's not a bad idea, but if you were going to try to hit 100 people to talk to, going downtown Town Square on Saturday morning is probably a great place to start.
Who are you looking to buy?
Okay? She's going to just jump in. Okay, so that's the first one. All right, and now we're going to start announcing the teams. Turn up. Let's do it. Let's get you nailed it. Let's turn it up. All right, first team, Team Iron. Hashtag listing Avengers. Get it? Iron Man. The Avengers. There we go. Jesse Paul. Jesse Paul. All right. So the team. Jesse's team. All right. Dusty Wright, Jackie Rudin, Ryan Lemon, Jamie Archibald, Lance Clifford, Karen Anderson, Martin Giselle, Melissa Coleman, Brady Peterson, Brittany Marinko, Aaron Naylor, Brielle Wallace, Emily Anderson, Hunter Fowler, Melissa Millard, Patricia Tiskowski, Ryan Tobler, and Travis Ballard. Good job, guys. So, hey, if you're here, raise your hand. Get a little swag bag, wristband, everything. All right, who up next? All right, the Wolfpack Team Dog. Here we go. Kathy Anderson. Yeah. All right. If you see your name, come on up or raise your hand. Joe Langston, Rebecca Bundy, Kate Schwager, Amberly Judy, Lisa Black, Colin Daly, Jennifer Phipps, Christy Hancock, Doug Harris, Brent Taylor, Andrea Lucard, Brooke Barney, Eric Colson, Kristen Morgan, Michelle Rodebeck, Race Parsons, Sage Judd. There's Joe right there. There we go. There we go. All right. Next. Team Car, Beast Mode, Bill. Team Beast Mode. Team Beast Mode. Woo!
If you're on this team, you're on a winning team. Just
Slow it down. All right, Bob Richards, Nicole Briggs, Neil Hobson, Jonathan Tilton, Todd Carpenter, Daryl Mackay, Sally Jensen, Mel Neimer, Carrie Street, Joe Wright, Bill Booker, Paul Lowy Collins, Devin Hayes, Greg Stevens, Jessica Evans, Mackenzie Gorin, Paul Maurer, Rick Cannon. All right. There's Team Beast Mode. Team Beast Mode. That's a big team right there. That's a good team. All right. Here we go. The Mad Hatters. Back in black. Jessica Malone. She's not yellow, but she's black. They're yellow back, so they're black. All right. We lost the sound. That's all right.
That's gone.
All right. Julie Miller, Holly Bell, Leslie Shaw, Michelle Evans, Sam Hinton, Heidi Moss, Alex Jones, Bun Luke, Joel Stad, Chantel Stevens, Braxton Hatch, Eli Kassab, Holly Gardner, Jill Olsen, Kaylee Fordham, Nikki Harris, Colette McCoy, Taylor Langston. Who else is here? Anybody? All right. 315 Battleship. Oh, no. TJ on a bow, I know. We had such a great song. It's on a bow.
We're gonna sing them all.
We're gonna sing them all. Team Ship. Don't worry about it. Just hit it back.
It's not working.
DJ's tough. Being a DJ and the master of all. Woo! It's going here. Nate Schaefer, Nate Shaw, Rod Packer, Sherry Rowney, Blake Bolton, Cindy Anderson, Tyler Call, Cody Jensen, Kurt Mitchell, Brett Thomason, Brandon Gardner, Cynthia Lawson, Doug Lewis, Jessica Hall, Cammy Ivy, Marlene Maurer, Morgan Bird, Rusty James. All right, Team Ship. Hashtag boom. Stop the comp. Stop the comp. Sarah Smith. Yeah, Sarah doesn't know who you are. I think you disconnected. Yeah. That's all right. These boots are made for walking. All right, here we go. Jeremy Larkin, Kate Anderson, Nancy Cran, Ryan Lemon, Robin McCarthy. Pause. I got drafted, and I'm still gonna whoop y'all's ass. Okay? Our team's gonna win. No way. Oh yeah. You're on our team. Despite having Jeremy Larkin on the team, we'll still win. Despite having Jeremy Larkin on the team. We got Dave Weeks on here. We got a bunch of aces. This team's gonna look. We're gonna beat all of you. I just want everyone to know that, but we're gonna win. All right. Jeff, Dave Weeks, Don Coverley, Zach Frank, Alex Stubbs. Alex is brand new. I think she just started less than a week ago. Guy Barlow's brand new. Just started. So we got lots of experienced agents, and then we have agents that are just brand new, just got their license. Brooke Wright also. So every team has a big swath of everybody in every stage of their business. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Trey, Trey's getting his license. Everybody, Trey just finished his licensing hours, and he takes the test on Thursday. So anybody got tips? Anybody got any tips? Make sure you give him some tips.
Yeah.
All right.
Always me.
So hey, those are the teams. I'm excited to get this going. We're going to stick around and do some listing conversations on delivering your value. If you want to stick around. If not, if you guys got to go, I know we're all on a time crunch. I wanted to quickly go through this and get you guys out of here if you can, and we'll go from there. I'm going to queue up a little bit of the value conversation that we're going to have here shortly. So mingle among yourselves, but I'm excited for this contest. I hope you guys are too.
We get team pics while we have the.
Yeah, hey, if you got your team here, let's get some pictures of your teams. Up here in front of the board. They're like, Jessica's like, I'm eating here, don't, and no, for all of you online, we hope to see you swinging around here and get on your team.
Everybody that's online?
Yep, we got 15 online.
Can you swipe so we can see them all?
That's all of them.
Well, that is all really spendy.
Yeah, before they
Yeah, that's all of them.
All right, Wolfpack. Let's start with
Okay, Team Wolfpack. All right, guys, online. I'm pulling up
Can you just go
some stats here, so hang with me.
What? That was exactly her. I was like, yeah. She's like, green is money.
Joe.
And Joe.
Joe, you're seriously outnumbered there.
All right, we got lots of stuff going on. If you're online, this might be boring for a minute as everybody comes up and takes photos. So hang tight.
Hey, Robert, Cindy was trying to do the
Say that again. Dang it, I can't hear you.
I know how we're gonna.
Cindy was trying to get into the meeting. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I had to mute myself. It doesn't look like she's trying to get in right this second. See if she can jump right back on, and I'll admit her.
Okay, I'll ask her. I think she gave up.
Sorry, dang it. We couldn't see the screen of people adding, and it's taken its ability away to just auto have you guys jump in. I have to like approve every single one. Sorry about that. See if you can jump back on. I'll be here watching it. Two pictures left, guys. Two pictures left, and then we'll get on with it. Jamie's like, man, I wish I was there.
Well, really what, because how many times have people said, oh my gosh, you must love your job, you gotta look at beautiful houses all day. It's like, you have no concept what our value is and what our job actually entails. So I feel like until we do better at educating them what our value is, instead of just, you know, they're not going to teach or buy in.
Yeah. Michelle, in the last team meeting, you said clients are going to respond better to stories, right? And
Bad stories
bad,
that have happened.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bad stories or successes. I mean, I think they're going to respond to both, right? Because they're going to run away from fear more so than they're going to run towards pleasure, right? We act on emotion, but we justify with logic. So we know that the buyers and sellers, we know our clients are going to act off an emotion, but then they're going to reverse that and justify it off the logic that makes sense, right? So emotionally, they're going to be connected to this discount because they bought the boat already when somebody told them what the value of their house was. And they're like, oh, I could go buy a boat with that and a house and do all of these things, right? They've already spent the money. So emotionally, they're invested into it. And now they're going to logically say, well, if I can get that number by using a discounted agent, then that makes it okay, right? So knowing that we got to tell great stories to get them to walk them down the road, it's important that we have some of those examples, right? One of these that Jamie said online, she said, volume agents do not push to get the most money for their client. They push to close as many deals as possible because that's their business model, right? So if you were to ask and have that conversation with, how do you think a discount agent makes their money? Do they make their money on the number of closings that they have or the quality of closings that they have? The number, right? And then we ask a seller that, right, who's brought this objection up, then we can kind of start guiding them down the road. But what's the problem right now with the discounters and our clients going to them? Do they bring the objection up to us? Are you finding that you're saying, well, this person will do it for cheaper? Or are they just going with somebody cheaper and never talking to us? They're bringing it up, okay? How often have we run into that? The same amount or more so now than ever? Who's the listing agent here? 2 out of 3 times. They're bringing up the discount. Jesse, what do you think? More so or the same?
Yeah, it's more so, but it's not as much as we think.
Okay.
It's not enough for me to put in my business model that I'm going against I'm trying to compete with a discount agent.
I love that.
So because if that's what I'm focused on, that's what I'm going to attract.
Yes,
I'm
I
going to
totally agree
attract
with that.
every person that wants a discount. And quite honestly, out of 10 listing appointments, maybe 3 will have that problem.
Mhm.
So 7, so for 30% of my business, I'm focusing a massive amount of attention, worried about something that's only going to happen 3 out of 10 times. Does it happen? Yes, but not as much as this conversation warrants.
Yeah, and I think,
don't think.
I would say that that's probably true. We have multiple stories that are true, right? And if we were to gear our listing presentations and the conversations that we're having aimed at being like, I gotta sink the discount agent model, I gotta sink that ship, and we put all of our focus into that, then that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get those objections. We're gonna be going after those clients that are kind of already shopping around and looking to see what they can get for the best deal. Now, on the flip side, so I brought this slide up. This is 2019, so I need to get the updated data. I need to be a better master of my schedule so I can pull it up beforehand. But this data, I still feel like is pretty accurate. It probably has not changed. And if anything, it's probably changed more to the point that I'm making than it has away from it. So this is a list of where sellers found their agent. Let me get this up so I don't miss anything. Okay, where sellers found their agent. So 39% of sellers found their agent were referred to them by a friend, neighbor, or relative. Okay. And 27% used the agent previously. Okay. And starkingly so, 4% of sellers found their agent from the internet. 4%. Okay. So we have roughly, I'm not great at math, 27 and 39. What is that? 70 something? 60 something percent. All found it from a referral or they already had used that agent previously, right? So knowing that to be true, what part of your lead generation is this? Referred friend or family, neighbor or relative, or use the agent previously? What part of your lead generation pillar is that? SOI, right? That's your SOI. So if I'm spending money, knowing that of the vast majority of the sellers that every sign that goes in the yard are going to look roughly like these numbers, and in St. George, I bet you it's even higher. They already know or were referred to specifically by somebody that they know or had a success with in the past. Would you guys agree to that? That the SOI business is probably heavier than the national averages? So, and 4% of the sellers came from the internet, which is probably pretty accurate even here, right? There's probably a 4% that they found their listing agent online. Where are we going to focus our time in giving value?
Your SOIs.
Your SOI. How do we give value to our SOI so we can get to them before they ever hit the internet? Because the place they're finding discounters are probably the internet, and then the referral of somebody that had a success story with a discounter, right? That's probably the two ways that they're going into a discount to find a discounted agent. So if we put and deliver our value to our SOI and to our database specifically, we're going to cut 3/4 of all of the sellers on the market are going to be in that zone. So what are some ways that we can engage our database to where we can make these numbers add to our value so we can still get our commission? What are some of those ways that we can do it? Over the next 90 days, we got 90 days to go drum up some listings.
Social media?
Social media, okay? How so? How would we do it? What kind of a thing would we do on social media? Adding value, deliver value.
Well, besides your posting good, attractive content, you need to be direct messaging the people that follow you and the people that know you.
Directly contacting them, right? Direct messaging them. So through social media, not allowing it to be completely passive, but actually reach out directly to them through those social media channels. Kara?
I think it's engaging too. I just got a client last night and it was just an acquaintance that I knew on Facebook. But because I'm commenting and liking and engaging in her conversations, then I was the first one that she went to. So just engaging.
Engagement.
Conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Commenting, liking.
We need to increase our connection in our conversations. Is that gonna show them value? In some ways, right? They're gonna say, oh, they're available. They're available. They're not an agent that's too busy. Because how many people have said, hey, you guys are probably so crazy, the market's nuts, huh? You're probably just running around selling all kinds of homes, right? Has everybody been saying that? That value proposition on social media is actually pretty hard to do, right? Give them value through that social media, because how fast are they scrolling? They're going through those posts really quickly. So how do we get them to stop on it and see the value, right? So I think this is something we want to continue to have this conversation is I'm running an ad, or if I'm running posts, social media over the next 90 days, what specifically can I do to target my database to get referrals and to re-engage my past clients so that I can get sellers out of that, okay? I think that's a big focus that we have to do. What else can we do? Can we spend money on our SOI over the next 90 days and get a return on that?
Oh, yeah.
How many of us spend money on our SOI regularly?
Mm-hmm.
Couple of us?
Yeah.
Is it built into a campaign directly to touch on the homeowners in our database, right? So what are some of those things that you're doing right now? Anybody want to share?
Popeyes.
Yeah.
Pop buys? In what way?
On Friday, so I popped into Veo and bought 6 pies and then made a list of people that I hadn't, that was kind of on my mind or that I thought like would be great, and I popped by and looked them a pie.
So you were in Veo, grabbed 6 pies, and then found somebody, dropped by, just handed them a pie, said I was thinking about you, right? That's a great way. What else?
I do birthday cards, gift cards.
Birthday card, gift cards, okay? Christmas.
Random holiday in the middle of whatever.
Yep, okay. Giving them Christmas stuff. What else? What can we do over the next 90 days to engage our database, spend some money on them?
Mother's Day's coming.
Mother's Day's coming.
That's a good one.
May Day baskets.
May Day baskets.
Red Day.
Red Day.
Flag Day.
Red Day. Red Day. Huh?
Summer.
Flag Day in June.
Flag Day in June.
It's gonna be summer.
We got first day of summer on the 21st.
They have kids, bring some little pool toys.
Iron Man.
Always hit them with the
Summer gifts, right?
Virtually every day of the year, there's a national chocolate chip cookie day.
Yeah.
Pick one of those days.
Yeah, we did rubber ducky
Random-
day.
a
We did
random
rubber
one,
ducky
too.
day of the first quarter, right? It's just a random national holiday that your clients are gonna stop what they're doing and see that you're giving them value in some kind of way. So when we engage in them, are we asking? What are we asking for? How do we call our database and get them to act? How do we do it?
A call to action, but I don't know what, are you like asking for specific call to action?
Sure. Like take one of these scenarios and say, so Jessica, you went and knocked on the door and you gave a pie out. What does that conversation look like?
It kind of depended. It was very natural, organic, just checking in, kind of a quick forward conversation. Wanted to
Okay.
say, thank you so much for your business. Please let me know if there's anything you need from me. What can I do for you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you're looking for, but that's.
No,
Right or
there's no wrong, right or wrong. There's no right or wrong, right? Because we go in and we want to learn more about them, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? We want to have a conversation with them and connect with them first. And then inevitably, what are they going to do?
I don't know, but I want to tell them what's going on because I'm their local specialist.
You're the
I'm
expert.
Like, hey, did you know? Hey, and is there anybody you know? I want to do the go around. Like,
Yeah.
anybody you can think of that you can, anyway, like that whole.
Yeah.
They're not going to be afraid to have that conversation to ask for referrals and who do you know and did you know about this?
Yes.
Because I want to give you some good information.
How can I help?
And then I'm going to be a service.
I fall into the camp of knowing when to ask and knowing when not to ask, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to know when not to go for the ask. And you can't be afraid to say, hey, I just want to actually update you on what's going on in the market. I don't know if you've heard that the real estate market has really changed in St. George. And what are they going to say? How so?
Yeah, I heard
Exactly.
about that.
Or what else would they say?
Yeah, I heard it's crazy.
I heard it's crazy right there. And they're gonna vomit out all the things that they know that their neighbor told them and their friends told them and
Probably not
another
all true,
agent
too.
told them. They're gonna download all of that to you because they're gonna tell you exactly what's going on in the market, right? How do we take that information and add value to it? Do we tell them they're wrong if they say something's wrong? Or if they say something that's wrong, do we be like, well, that's actually not true? Do we?
Teach them.
I think it would. Yes, because that shows that you know the correct stuff. And you
Yeah.
are up to date.
And that you were listening.
It is. I think it's a total teachable moment, right?
Definitely.
Tell them that you were listening, right? How do you after the fact? How do we follow up, Jesse?
So on something like that, you could actually just spin that and not even make them wrong.
Right?
No, that's actually why I called. I've been hearing some misinformation in the market right now, and I really wanted to reach out and help the people that I like the best.
Oh man, say that one more time. Say it loud.
That's exactly why I called. I've been hearing so much misinformation that's going through town. I wanted to make sure to call the people that I like best to make sure that they don't fall for something like that.
So that they're
So
clear.
It doesn't make them wrong. It's that, oh gosh, that's why I called.
Yeah, this is exactly why I have a job. And it's not that you're ready to sell right now. Because if you look at the timeline, I'm gonna draw. Some people can see it, some people can't. So we have a closing happens all the way over here. You guys can't see it over there. We have a closing at the end. We have a timeline of when we start lead generating. Okay, this is money at the end. Right here is the contract to close, right? We already have them under contract. This is that little time period of getting them through due diligence and all kinds of stuff, right? This is contract to close, typically 30 to 45 days. Lead generation, right, happens all the time, but in this middle zone, it's all follow-up, right? Well, when we have a closing, where do we go from closing? We go back to the follow-up start, right? So whatever we paid for, if you look at the timeline of life of a sale, we sell up here and we have to go all the way through another cycle before they decide to sell again, right? So we go through, we've sold, we have to continue to give them value all the way through as they're starting to ramp back up to wanting to sell again. We have to continue to show them value. The top agents in our market, the top agents in our market are all fairly heavy in the SOI because of this kind of a mastery, right? It's this ability to, when you close a deal, you keep talking to those same people, right? And so when we do the follow-up, this is what we're paying for. This is what they're paying for in the 6%, is all the information that they're going to get on all the times that the market's crazy and they have no interest in selling, but you're going to tell them exactly what's the best scenario for them, right? Well, hey, I was thinking about selling my investment property. What do you think? If you guys want to get a listing and somebody said they wanted to sell their investment property, what's the conversation that we have?
Do they want to buy another investment property?
Do they want to buy another investment property?
Or is it everyone exchange?
Can I buy it?
Yeah.
I'm in the market, right?
I have a pocketful buyer.
Why do you want to sell your investment property?
You feel like it's, the market's higher, you want to roll it into something newer.
Something newer?
Yeah.
A newer home or a newer investment?
Newer investment. Yeah, because once it gets to a certain age, you might start to think it's going to start to have more problems.
Yep. So the age of the property, right, might be taken into account. What if they're like, I've only had it a couple of years, it's pretty new. I'm getting this much rent for it, and this is what I bought for it. We probably are going to want to do a value analysis as to whether that investment they should keep riding, or should they sell it right now? Do we think we're at the top? Do we think we're at the top of value?
Maybe not.
What do we answer our clients with? Sean, man, I feel like we're at the very top, man. Should I sell my house?
I always bring up supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
So there's a lot of buyers that want to buy, and there's not a lot of supply.
Right.
I don't personally see the supply increasing anytime soon, but I see the demand increasing. And largely the conversation I have is there's so many baby boomers retiring. I think it's like 10,000 a day, and that's not going to slow down. And so many people want to get out of these states and go to a great area. And St. George is right in the first stop past Vegas. You know?
Right in the sweet spot.
So I don't see it. I don't see demand slowing down. So therefore, I don't see price slowing down.
Yeah. Right. So it's it's a clear, concise way of saying no without being, too direct on it.
Without telling them fortune.
Well, yeah, exactly. We can't.
I got a crystal
We have to
ball.
watch inventory. Until that starts moving upward, then prices won't stop increasing.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to determine, is it their right time or is it the right time, right? Because their right time, I think, is important, and it's as important as any of the other factors. Because for us, I'm sitting on my investment property thinking, I could take this money out and go do something else with it, and I'm not really ready. So just because the market is doing what it's doing, I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for it yet. And so knowing that I'm armed with all the information that I have, right? Give them all the options, and then we ask, right? And then we continue to follow up and ask if they're thinking about selling still. We got to continue to follow up, but we got to give value with statistics, understand the supply and demand so that the value of their home is clear to them. And who wants to correct me if I'm wrong? Is the value of their house the number one thing that they're interested in? What's the number one thing that they're interested in whether they sell or not? How much they'll make, right? How much they'll make, the net in their pocket at the end. And what's a great opportunity to have a conversation without having a conversation about the discount model, having a conversation about the discount model of how I can net you more money in your pocket in the most reasonable amount of time to you, because sometimes it's not right now. Sometimes it's sell the home and stay in it for a couple of months, right? Sometimes it's sell, move right this second. So sometimes fast speed is good. Sometimes it's not, right? And having that conversation with them of how you can get it done so they're clear as to what their options are. I think that's where the value of beating the discount model comes into play. Educating your current clients, understanding their story and their scenario so they can make an informed decision. So all of the media and all the marketing that we should do should be centered around connecting to more of those people, right? More of those people, right? What other thoughts do we have about this how sellers found their agent number? 4% internet, looks like 5% personal contact by agent. That's interesting. This one's what sellers want. 21% help seller market the home and help find a buyer. So I look at this stat and I think it's funny because it's a little leading if it was multiple choice when they did it, but help find a buyer and help seller market the home. To me, those are the same thing. Anyone want to disagree with me on that? Right? It's like the same thing, right? So essentially they just want the job to get done, right? That's a D. So what are we at? Almost not even 40% want just to get the job done. They also want help sell the home with a specific time frame, 20%. Help price a home competitively, 19%. Help fix up the home for a sell, 16%. And then other things of what sellers want. Any ahas around this?
Yes.
What?
So 80% of our time here has been spent talking about commission. And if we get stuck talking about that right up front, we lose every opportunity we have to talk about what's really important. Because typically that's on the phone, which is the last place we should be talking about it. And we just get sucked in.
Yeah, because make the most money isn't on here. I don't know if that was an option to pick from, you know, when they did the survey. Is it important to you? What I want is to make the most money. That might not have been an option in this, right? So I don't know how the NAR did the survey, but it doesn't look like it to me on that, right? So not talking about commission, right? Don't make it about that. Make it about what the sellers actually want. What else? How much are you guys spending on lead generation, internet lead generations per month? Anybody want to start shouting out numbers? Online lead generation per month.
What was the question?
How much are you spending on online lead generation per month?
I'm just trying to figure out how you word it. Is that a good listener?
Huh? You're a good listener? So more money was spent. Sorry, Sarah, go for it.
I spend $1,500.
$1,500. Sarah spends $1,500. I would say that's probably average, actually. It's $1,500 a month on online lead generation. Okay. So if I know that the majority of my focus should be in listings, and why is the majority of our focus as a single agent? If you're a buyer agent on a team, it's a different kind of a conversation. But as a single agent, and I'm building a real estate business, why do I need to focus on listings? It's leveraged, right? Say that again. It brings buyers, right? It's twofold. You get a sale and you're also allowing yourself to market to get buyers from that individual listing, right? So it lowers our cost of sale down. Why else? It's leveraged. It's less expensive. It is a form of lead generation. Why else?
Well, I know I'll get the contract out of the other 80 that are putting the offer in.
You're going to get the contract, right? You guaranteed, you get to set the commission. And essentially that's what you're saying, right? It's like, I get to set the commission. I control my income. I control how much money I'm going to make on the contracts that I put on, right? So those are the three real big values of listings and sellers. If I'm spending $1,500 a month on internet marketing, that's, to me, when I look at this, would really only to bolster my brand, right? Give it somebody that's already considering me added strength in the fact that I'm choosing the right person, right? I see that as saying, oh, if I have a great internet presence, then the sellers that are potentially already considering me, it's going to be additionally to that. I Google Nate Schaefer, and whatever comes up is going to make me feel great about before I meet with him, right? So spending, bless you.
Or it could be really bad.
Yeah.
It could be bad.
What other word you put in there?
Yeah, as long as you don't have a picture, man, I think you're fine. You're handsome and you know it. I think I see this. I'm competing so hard for such a small slice of the listing pie by spending money on internet leads, right? And focusing my energy on a passive touch. I see internet websites as a passive way of getting business. Would you guys agree?
It's also the hardest.
It's also the hardest, right?
The lowest converting.
Yeah.
Lowest converting, right? For the conversion rate of an online lead. What's the conversion rate of an online lead? Anybody want to tell me? 6 to 10? 10's high. Kara?
Using the command referral system has helped me.
Jumping into referrals through command and agent networking. I think agent networking is a huge value right now because people are selling their house. I saw a KW Westfield agent list 3 homes in St. George. Why did she list 3 homes in St. George?
There could be a couple of reasons.
There could be a couple of reasons. Why?
Selfish.
Selfish.
So hopefully, I want to believe that this person really knows the market and is doing the best service for their client.
Okay.
Maybe she has a second home, maybe she has a second home, maybe she knows,
Yep.
he or she knows the market and
Uh-huh.
runs on the street.
So they feel like they know the market and they can do it. What else?
The other one I think is just coming from scarcity and coming from a mindset of, I want this sale instead of how am I serving my client best?
Yep.
I, as much as I know Salt Lake like the back of my hand, would not be doing any service by selling a home up north.
Yeah.
That's my
You know that the home's gonna sell, right? You're gonna put a sign in the yard. 100% of the homes are selling, right? It's not 100%. It's actually, there's still fallout, right? There's still homes that aren't selling, believe it or not. But for the most part, if you're a fairly competent agent and you haven't gone too wild, every home's gonna sell that you list. And you're like, I'm confident that I could probably do a pretty minimal job and still sell that house and get the seller the money, right? So they're probably gonna come from scarcity, I think is a big piece. But Jesse, what did you say?
They don't have a relationship with somebody they trust.
They don't have somebody that they trust down here. That agent actually just came to KW Westfield from an independent brokerage, right? Her and her partner, they did like 35 million last year in volume, and they just came to KW Westfield and they listed 3 homes in like the first week that they were here down here in St. George. The reason they're doing that though is why they're not used to having a network of agents that could help them, and they could see that I could go make 25, and I probably, if I'm you right now, I'd be marketing to Salt Lake agents and giving them 30 to 35% as a referral fee, right? Especially if you know that you can deliver your value proposition on the selling side to get your commission. It might be worth it to get a sign in the yard and build that relationship and make sure they stay up there and we stay down here, right? I think that that's a good idea. Not everybody's going to agree with me, but I think it's going to be an incentive for me to build some of those relationships. Joe, do you have a good referral network up north? How did you build that? Reciprocity.
Yeah, taking care of their people and they take care of ours. We have a strong relationship up there.
Yeah, it goes both ways, right? Because giving your time and attention to, who knows Homelight? Anybody know who Homelight is? If you don't know who Homelight is, raise your hand. Okay, Homelight. If you get on Google and say, sell my home in St. George, more likely than not, Homelight is one of the top paid searches that'll pop up, okay? What Homelight does is they market the same way everybody else is marketing, right? With a bigger budget to get sellers, and then they sell those sellers to you for a referral, right? And it's pretty, it used to be that anybody could be like signed up with Homelight and get those leads. Is it still that way?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to just sign up.
It's pretty easy to sign up. When I was selling and doing listings with Larkin, I was always competing with 4 guys. Who do you think those 4 guys were?
Nate Schaefer.
Not till later, but I did later. Brian Burnett. Kramer. Ames. Ted Payne. Every single time. We'd call that lead, we connect with the lead, and I knew I was gonna have a listing presentation, and knowing I was have to go up against each one of those as the other listing agents that they were interviewing, right? So now I'm gonna pay Homelight to compete for a listing, right? Now I'm not gonna pay Homelight to give me a lead. Now I'm actually paying Homelight to make my job harder instead of actually easier. So how often do we do those? We see Homelight leads, we're like, I don't know why you want to go here. It normally didn't. We only sold a couple of them because most of them were looking for a discount, because the agents that were on that same list were like, oh, what would you pay a listing agent? And they're like, $500, sold, right? Brian just caved on the commission instantly, right? So how can it's really tough to compete with that when you know you're going up against those same people over and over again. So looking at that, yes. Who is that?
This is Dina. I just wanted to make a comment about the KW Westfield thing. Let's not forget that the likelihood of them piggybacking on Keller Williams St. George is extremely high. If KW St. George didn't have, I would postulate, didn't have the presence that we have in Washington County, if an unknown agent came down and said, I'm with Keller Williams, no one would probably attach any value to that. So I would say that without a doubt, that's a lost opportunity, probably based on our reputation in the market.
Yeah, I think so too. The more market share we take, the more listings that we have, signs in the yards that we have, the more opportunity we'll have other agents going like, well, I know I got to go to a KW agent to get that house sold down there because everybody sells their house with Keller Williams, right? We have 11% market share right now. We're tied with 11% market share with Red Rock, closely followed by 7% market share with Remax. Who's the number one? Thank you, Heather. Who's the number one listing brokerage in Washington County? Who are three of those four people I told you? Remax. They have about 15% of the listings are Remax agents. Yet they don't have very many agents, but that's all they focus on. All those agents, that's their main number one thing is listings, and go and get listings. They spend a lot of online leads, a lot of online lead generation to go get those listings. For us to turn that around and take more listings, we have to dive into the SOI, and we have to get on the street. We have to get in front of them before they go to the internet to find them. Okay, and I think that building the value proposition within the northern Salt Lake agents and reaching out to those agents and showing them that they have a KW office down here that can get the job for them, and that reciprocity that we build over time, I think it's a missed opportunity a little bit. I see non-board agents and unrepresented buyers or unrepresented period going through the roof right now. The biggest percentage of sales is in that category, non-board agents and unrepresented buyers or sellers. So if you look at the top-down report, that's where the biggest jump is in amount of inventory being swallowed up. And that's because the population in St. George doesn't trust that an agent can do the same job that they can do themselves. Okay, and we got to change that conversation. Anything else that we want to talk about on how to deliver value and some strategies over the next 90 days?
My biggest problem is that I don't know where my sellers are going to go. So if I have somebody that is thinking about selling, they end up deciding not to because they realize how competitive the market is, and they think, well, I actually don't mind the house that I'm in. I'll just stay here. My mortgage is really low. I can take out some equity that I have and remodel my kitchen and just stay here.
Sweet.
And they always end up just deciding to stay. So how do you overcome that objection of what's better than what I have now? Why would where would I go if I do sell?
What do you guys think?
I think it's a pretty individual conversation because you want to serve your client, and it may be in their best interest to stay put.
Yeah, is it an objection or is it a condition? It's a condition.
I think if they really want to upgrade, right? Because that conversation is, yeah, this is what you're paying now, but for a similar monthly payment, you may be able to afford a lot more house. But really educating them that you will not let them go homeless.
Yeah.
You know,
There's ways to do it.
There's so many ways that they can sell their home and I mean, I just closed on a house that they can't even move until February 1, 2022. And they're like, we're fine, we'll take it, we'll figure out a way. Like,
we'll figure it out.
They were so needing that house that they didn't care. So
Kara, 1 second. So just to piggyback onto this is a great example of contact more people, because there's going to be those that are like, that's all right, I'll figure it out. And then the ones that are on the fence, it's not our job to push them one side or the other, right? It's not our job to push them. That's the used carsman sales pitch that everybody hates anyway. It's the reputation that we've all been trying to shake since the day we got into the business, of that feeling like I'm just trying to sell somebody, right? We're not salespeople, right? We use that vernacular a lot, and I don't know if there's any going back, but we're marketers and we're consultants. We market homes and we consult people on how to buy and sell. We're not salespeople, right? We give them all the options and we let them decide. And so I think we just up the number of people that we're having that conversation with, and more of them will be like that. But we don't want to leave them behind, because old expireds were my favorite lead generation. back when they actually had old expireds. There's so much less now. But in 2016, my very, very first solo lead generated deal listing that I got was from a 3-year-old expired. So Larkin paid, thankfully, for a list from Land Voice for all these expired listings that were old, 2 years and longer old. And I was just calling them on a Saturday morning. And Miguel Santiago, he's like, I was actually just thinking about connecting with an agent this week. I was like, well, interesting. Are you curious about the value of your house is? He said, yeah. I was like, can I come over today? He said, yeah. And I listed the home that Monday, sold, they moved to California, right? And it was just an old expired. They had in their mind that they were ready to sell, but all of the dominoes hadn't quite lined up yet. And so those ones that are like, yeah, you know, I would consider selling. Yeah, the money, I like that, but it's not necessarily like this requirement that I do it. We don't want to lose those. We put those into some long-term nurture and know that eventually they're going to come back through. We actually can start segmenting out our database even better when we have those conversations and know in this little arc of timeline, how much closer are they to selling, right? They might still be down here, but they're getting closer. And as you get closer to that point of wanting to sell, we need to increase our amount of touches. We need to talk to them more and more and more and more as we get closer and closer to that moment. Okay. So when we're having these conversations, you're like, great, now I can increase the touches of those, but I'm going to still keep going and finding new people. Okay. Kara?
There could be an option with using leverage from their existing home, because I just did this for a lady that used the equity to buy the home she wanted to get into. And then now we're going to sell her home.
Like a bridge loan.
It was using the leverage of that home. So she wasn't homeless.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
waiting for the 95 offers on these homes. We were the winner, but we had to use that leverage.
And that's where we bring in a great lender like Sean Russin.
Right.
Right? Just
$100 after.
yeah. He's kicked me $100 after. I think that's great. So we can come up with some of those strategies too, is to, if we're not clear as to what other options are to get them to bridge it, the better. I'm going to wrap. Okay. I know it's late. I ran way longer than I thought because I wasn't looking at the clock. Thanks for coming, guys. I think this is a good turnout. I'm super excited you guys all came. I'm excited for the listing contest. May 13th. Somebody do a Bull 100 this weekend at the marathon. I think, or the Ironman. I think it's a great option to do it. And we'll give some prizes away. You guys are good. I'm going to stick around and chat. I'm still here. Hey, thanks for coming on, guys. I know it's not as interactive, but hopefully I did record it. Brooke, hey, you're on our team. You better show up and get some listings, girl. Yes. Mel, you're on a great team too, Mel. Get some listings now. Tax season's over. Tax season's over. I think it's coming up, right? Is it? I think it's almost over. They extended it, right? Hold on, he's muting.
No, we got another month yet.
Oh shoot, that's right. They extended a whole month. Well, I'm sorry, man.
He's gonna be double up.
Good luck. Let me know if you need help. Tell them it's such a strong seller's market. We make any offer contingent on them finding another home place. Most likely real estate is going to keep going up. If you want a home, you're making a lateral move. I like that, Jamie. That's a good one. Thanks for jumping on. Jamie, I hope I get to see your face live. Sage, I hope you're there. I haven't seen your face in a while, too. Let's see you coming around. Hope Canab is good. Dina, always a pleasure.